All right, we are going to try this again. Thank God I have patience. One of the things that irk my soul is technology, but we got it, I think. And if you were in the reflection with me and we got disconnected, my apologies. I was on the wrong Wi-Fi. So hopefully this works. Hi, my name is Snake, and you probably have seen my higher self, my inner child, which is Rattlebones. Here he is. And before we get into this reflection, before I just channel, just connecting to God, I want to say welcome. Again, my name is Snake, and I am this is actually powerful to say, but I am the founder. Wow. I am the founder of Rattle XR Drip, and that means movement, expression, release, and the drip. Yes, it's sweat. That's the language in the 3D. But in the 6D, it's old habits, it's anxiety, depression, joy, grief, excess, fat. We are rewiring the nervous system. And how we get to that higher vibration is we drink agua. And that is actually it. That's the Rattle XR Drip. Just water. And the willingness to let go and to unplug. And what I mean by unplug, I mean not paying attention to comments, hint to why I turned them off, hopefully. I thought I turned them off last night, but I'm still like getting used to the whole YouTube thing. And I'm doing my thing this morning. Of course, Venom slithers in. And hisses, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So yes, welcome to the Rattle Playhouse, ICUER, because here we believe issues live in the tissues, and we believe movement is medicine. And just to give you a little bit more of a background, I do come from healthcare, and I have seen souls in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, teens, that have health issues. And so that's why I'm a really firm believer of taking care of our beautiful body. Speaking of, we are going to cook some eggs this morning. I've been trying to eat healthier. So I've been cooking some eggs. I am no Martha Stewart, but we are going to cook some eggs. Wow, we made it. What a beautiful day to be alive. And if you're here with me, thank you. I appreciate you. I really do. Yesterday, it's been an emotional roller coaster. And I'm normally not one to express emotion through tears, but that is all welcomed here. Especially, I feel like in the men department, we have been told for decades, don't show emotion. And I don't believe in that. It's kind of like saying, don't take a shit, don't piss. Isn't that holding in? And we need to release. So yes, tears are welcomed. So I want to say thank you for believing in this medicine, which is movement is medicine. And yeah, yesterday was very profound. We crossed 1K, and that's that's just I don't know, a beautiful feeling, especially when you have been putting your heart and soul into something and you start to see the love, the unconditional love pour out. So thank you, Rattlers. I really do appreciate that. And I believe we're going to keep growing and to keep building the Rattle Playhouse, because this is where our inner child can be free through expression, through movement. This is an energy release practice. Yes? Okay, now, first things first, wash your hands. So this morning I woke up and I had to give myself some compassion because my goal is to wake up at, take a breath, but 2:30 a.m. Why, God? Because the veil is thin. It's easier for me to channel, it's less venom, but now that I turned off comments, thank God. Yeah, it just feels good in my nervous system. Could you imagine? Like it almost feels like getting bullied every day. You go to school and someone's constantly picking on you. That's what it feels like. Even though the energy is not mine to carry, I still have to look at it. I still have to read it. Meaning it's almost hard not to see, especially if I'm charging my phone and I see someone saying, "What the F?" So we changed that here. Here it means witness the frequency. And not only that, I desire my rattlers to feel safe through movement. I mean, already moving your body, it's already intimidating enough. So when you see low vibration, like I don't want the rattlers to kind of go back into their turtle shell. I really desire the rattlers to feel freedom in their expression and their movement. And so we got to clean house. We can't have that here. Now, a bowl. So yeah, I woke up a little late this morning and I'm like, fuck. But compassion. And so I woke up and feeling very sore. I have a personal trainer and she kicks her ass. And I was also talking to my partner last night for a bit. And normally I've been trying to go to bed around 9. I know that's really early. But waking up at 2:30, my body needs to rest, especially purging for 2 hours or so. So anyway, before I open that, my partner is getting some solitude, and I think every relationship needs solitude. Because think about it, if you're constantly around your partner all the time or around your brothers or sisters, I think it's just time where you just need a little bit of space. And my partner likes quiet. My partner is a water element and I'm a fire element. And so they just need peace and quiet. And so I get it. Do your thing. So my partner is staying at originally they were supposed to be staying at my condo, but I had a water leak. Last thing I really need is a water leak, but it's life, right? So I had a water leak and I'm like, how the F am I going to figure that out? I've never had this experience before, but one day at a time. So anyway, I pray to God that it all works out, and I believe it is. I believe HOA is going to take care of it. Thank goodness. And so my partners stayed at a nice little resort to treat themselves with solitude. So anyways, I talked to my partner last night, and they were telling me they just meditated all day, had a blindfold on, dark room, and just meditated, and then all of these ahas were coming down, getting downloaded. And my partner was stating that they were connecting to their inner child. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Okay, let me practice with that. So I thought that was really beautiful. And I normally I'm trying to watch the sweets. And I was going back and forth. I was telling myself, I really want crumble, because who wouldn't want crumble? Especially that we crossed 1K. I feel like that is a way to celebrate. And I was trying to be good, and then my partner calls me and it was asking, you should go check the mailbox. I'm like, oh, are you expecting something? Because I said, we just got a box of clothes in, and my partner's like, no, I got you a little something. I'm like, what? And they got me some crumble cookies. Hold on, God. It's about to get loud. So first things first, God, you crack the egg. I normally do, I don't know, 4 eggs. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, then let's just do one more for shits and kicks. Okay, I lied. We're gonna do 2 more. Because we need the protein, we need the omegas. Eggs are so good for your body, especially your bones. And the way that we've been moving, we need all the extra nutrition as possible. All right, then I'm a clean freak, so I like to clean up my mess when I'm in the process of cooking. And then we get some salt. And you sprinkle some salt in this bad boy. A little bit of that. And then that's it. All right, now we stir it. Now again, I'm not Martha Stewart, but I can make some good eggs. So anywho, back to what I was stating. So my partner got me some crumble cookies, and I'm like, you shouldn't have. But thank God there was those the little mini ones. They weren't the Big Daddies. And so I went to go check the mailbox, and they weren't there. So last night, we live in the reserves, like in the mountains, and somehow someone got stuck on the reserve. And it happens. How, I don't know, but it happens. And so all these emergency vehicles were here, and the whole road was blocked off. They had the helicopter out. I'm like, whoa, how cool. And so my crumble cookies didn't come because the lady couldn't get to our home because the roads were blocked off. And so anyway, after the chat with my partner, we ordered some more crumble cookies. And I got the crumble cookies, and I think I did Twix and strawberry milk, and the other one was, what was the other one? I don't know, I didn't really like the last one, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, it was really good, and I was like, yeah, I've been working hard, I can have a crumble cookie or 2. Little baby ones, won't hurt. Because I also believe we're here to be on this planet Earth to experience life. And for the most part, I eat pretty healthy. And again, we crossed 1K. Yeah, let's celebrate that, yes? So, anyway, I went to bed a little bit later than norm. I didn't go to bed till like 10:30. And trying to wake up at 2:30, no, that ain't happening. So I woke up, I think, 3:30. And I'm like running around. I gotta get ready. I gotta get everything ready. Oh my gosh. And then I was like, breathe. Just breathe. You're okay. You're okay. So that felt good just to breathe. Because I'm really trying to be consistent with my doses, which is Rattle XR drip. And for the ones who have been playing in the playground with me, everyone trying to stay consistent as much as possible, but sometimes it's just hard because life happens. Hence why I state, I'm not your guru, I'm not a hero, I'm just a mirror, I'm just your brother trying to live life and trying to heal my damn soul. And why not have fun with it? So anyway, let me turn this on. Maybe. Ooh. Okay, so I got ready this morning, and I wanted to switch it up a little bit. Normally, I've been in the casita doing my purge, and it's been great. But the other day, I was at the gym with my personal trainer, and I think she has someone training with her. And so I had shorts on, kind of like what I'm wearing now, and the coach was like, I want legs like Snake. And my partner's like, well, if you move your body 6 hours a day, I'm sure you can get that. But I don't just do that. I go running, I like to go hiking, I like to do other things, believe it or not. And so she says something very powerful to me, and it really vibrated my being. She said, yeah, I only dance in the bathroom. I'm like, oh, really? Tell me more about that. Because I'm pretty sure you're not the only one who does that. All right, got that heated. Then, oh yeah. So God, what I did was I got the oats all, whatever this word I'm looking for, stirred, there it is. And then throw that bad boy in the sink, and you pour it in the pan, just like that. Ta-da! Now, so then I had this really cool download. I'm like, well, what if I kind of take the playground to the bathroom? Because here is my download, God. I was thinking to myself, originally I did start to heal in the bathroom. That was the first OG. I remember where's the splash? I remember I would, when I was a kid, about 4 years old, I believe that's when most of our trauma starts, unfortunately. I remember being in the living room. I remember moving my body to Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston, and my mom loved to listen to music. So did my dad. And my mom also loved to clean, which I think that's where I get that from. But she would open the window, like she would remind me of Cinderella. She would open the windows and she would have Mariah Carey blasting through the house, and the whole house would damn shake. And I was just vibing with my mom. And then, so my mom, she loved Whitney, she loved Al Green, Boyz II Men, did I say Mariah? She loved Mariah Carey, she loved Missy Elliott, Aretha Franklin, I believe she loved. My mom really had some good taste in music. And this is the cool part. My dad loved, I forgot to say Michael. My mom and my dad loved Michael, Prince. And my dad loved Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses. Who else did my dad really love? He loved, I'm having a brain fire right now. Fuck. Who are those? Who is that group? Rhapsody, Freddie Mercury, let's see, Elvis. I mean, the list just goes on. Like, we were always just listening to music until we weren't. And so, a little bit more of a backstory, and I'm sure you know this, God, but I'll say it again. My original father, I have no idea who he is. He left when my mom was 16. And it's nuts because my partner has a 16-year-old daughter, and I couldn't imagine having a baby at 16 years old. I'm the oldest out of 7. There's 7 of us. Holy shit, that's crazy. All right. So anyway, my mom had me when she was 16 years old, and she met my dad, not my biological father, but I only know a little bit about him. I know he liked football, and at the time, football was way more important to him than having a fucking kid. So that was my first bite, abandonment, right? Like you would think your child would be more important than sports. But it is what it is. Compassion, right? Everything happens for a reason. All right, so now that the eggs are like that, I get a little bit of cheese. Turn that bitch down. Get a little bit of cheese, and then sprinkle it on like such. So anyways, my mom actually met my stepdad. I think it was AOL, I don't know. And I actually have a picture to show you God of my mom and dad. But anyway, I remember a little bit, but not too much. I remember being on an airplane and being terrified. I remember it like just having really bad turbulence. So we were coming from Virginia Beach. That's where I'm originally from. And okay, I think these are done. We met I'm calling him my dad because he adopted me when I was 4, and he has been my saving grace. So yeah, I remember meeting my dad, and I remember just being so just connected. I remember hugging his leg and just, let me see if I can find that picture. It's somewhere, but this is my dad. What a handsome fella, right? Mark is his name. Yeah. And I think he was 34, 33, about around my age when I met him. And yeah, I remember him looking just like that. And I remember he would put me, like, he would do this Superman thing when, he would lay on his back and I would just fly like this, and I'm getting goosebumps. Whoa. That happens a lot. You might see me get goosebumps. That's spirit, dad. Because energy doesn't die, right? Blah. Anyway, oops. So we would go fishing, and I just remember the coolest thing about my dad was he never tried to change me. And I remember being in Virginia, and where we lived, it was really in the woods. My dad really lived in the boondocks, in the sticks is what we would call it. And the stars, I love stargazing, and it was just so beautiful to look at the stars. And I would go out, my dad would be on the deck, and normally I would go out there just after, like, probably, I don't know, I was always in the living room moving my body to Brittany, Michael, always. That was me playing. And I would go out there on the deck, and I would normally sit on the deck rail, and he would always say, "Be careful." And I would ask him questions like, where do we come from? Why are whales called whales? Who gave the name tiger? At the age 4 or 5, I was asking these deep personal questions. And then I also remember, what happens when we die? And for a very long time, I've been terrified of death. And it's just, I don't know, the full circle, so to speak. But yeah, my dad would allow me just to be. There was no fixing, and I would play all day outside. And I remember going outside so many times barefoot and not giving a damn. I remember we had this really bad storm that knocked over the trees and kind of fucked up our deck a little bit. I'm gonna eat this, God. So you're more than welcome to join me. Get that later. First, let's do a quick little prayer. Okay. Beautiful. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, my dad. So yeah, I would play, back then Power Rangers was huge. I remember Power Rangers. Matter of fact, I literally watched Power Rangers a couple of days ago because I don't give a F. It's fun, why not? I'd rather watch that than fucking news, kidding me? So anyway, yeah, Power Rangers was huge. I remember Saturday mornings like yesterday. And it's so interesting. I remember this feeling, and I haven't had this feeling in a while, but I was sleeping and I would hear "Go, go, Power Rangers" on like Fox News, God no, on Fox. And we had a tiny little yellow house, divine. And my bedroom was towards the back of the house. And it was my room, and then my dad and mom's room, and then we had this hallway, and then we had this bathroom, and then there was a kitchen, then we had this little living room area. I don't know what you want to call that area. But then you would go into this little, like, I don't know what it was called. It was another room. And right next to that other room I'm just telling you about, we had a fish tank. My dad had fish, catfish, and I don't remember the other fish he had. And then we had the TV, and yeah, our TV was always on. I don't know why, it was just always on. But I would hear the Power Ranger theme song, and I would wake up, but I couldn't like move my body. It was so weird. It was like I was up, but I couldn't like get into my body. So what I would do, I would try to roll off the bed so I can fall on the floor, and so I can wake up and go watch Power Rangers. Wow. Those are some good eggs. So anyway, early in the morning, I would be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, kind of like I am now. And I would just have so much joy in my body, so much excitement for life. And at that time, life was good. I thought I had that perfect family, so to speak. And so I would watch Power Rangers fucking all day. Power Rangers, I would watch Pinky and the Brain, Boys Meets World. What else did I watch? Full House. Oh, the classics. Bobby's World. Wow. What else? Looney Tunes. Inspector Gadget, but the cartoon version. Batman, cartoon version. Wow. Those were the days. Shit. And then I would love I Love Lucy. And yeah, I really admired that show because I saw love and it was divine. And I was like, wow, I'm living in that, like with love and the white picket fence, until Venom came back. So, my mom had some really messed up things happen to her in her childhood. And I believe suppressed energy. However, my dad treated my mom so beautifully from what I can remember until, again, Venom. And when I say Venom, I mean low energy, the matrix, the system, the programming. And my mom, I feel like she didn't know her worth or her value. And she didn't really understand what it was like to truly be loved, to truly be valued. And my dad loved her so deeply. And so it's sad because, I don't know, I feel like I always wonder sometimes, what would it be like if they were still together? I wonder would my dad still be alive? I wonder if my mom was with him still, maybe he wouldn't have turned into an alcoholic. Those questions float around time to time. But here we are. So, my dad wasn't drinking, at least not like he started to, from what I can remember. But my mom got a job at Peebles. My mom loved makeup. And my mom also loved to sing. She always wanted to be a singer. And she always had that vision, that dream. And, well, maybe it'll happen one day for her. You know, she's still around. I haven't seen her since 2010, so that's a long time. So anyway, my mom got this job at Peebles, which I don't think that store exists anymore. And she used to work for Mary Kay, if that rings a bell to any soul, any angel that's watching. And so my mom would come home later and later, and that is when the friction kind of started to shift in the house. And yeah, that's when my dad started to drink more. And that's when I started to realize that our family was starting to do this disconnect. And at a young age, that is probably the most scariest thing ever, because I believe, well, I'll speak for myself. I just wanted that beautiful family that I don't know, what you see on TV, like what I saw on I Love Lucy, and I just really wanted that so deeply at a very young age. I've always just been a lover. And I didn't understand the chaos that I was getting ready to witness. So, I remember one night, I remember seeing the headlights pull up, and it was my mom, and it was late at night, and I just remember like cabinets slamming, and I remember hearing like furniture almost getting pushed against, well, not almost, it was. And I couldn't believe my eyes, God. I couldn't believe I woke up and I went out to the kitchen and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. What I saw was, it looked like a ghost fucking came to the house. Cabinets were open. My dad had beer can in his hand. He had the refrigerator, or not the refrigerator. He had this furniture, like tables and chairs against the door, so my mom couldn't come in. And I'm just like, whoa, what? Hello, what is this? I think about that time I was 6 or 7. hmm I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. My mom is banging on the door, "Let me in." And my dad didn't. So my mom was cheating on my dad. Awful. And not awful at my mom. Trust me, I have had so much anger and almost hatred towards my mother. But I have learned compassion and forgiveness, and I got more data from my uncle that my mom had it rough. And it's almost like, just like when we see venom slither through here, they don't know any better. So those nights started to come more frequent, and that is when I said, I can't do this anymore. I just need to stop the noise. So what I would do, I had a Walkman, and I would go into the bathroom and just put on my headphones. Normally I was probably listening to Michael or Brittany, or those are like my top two. Michael, Brittany, Whitney. Yeah, all day, every day. But anyway, I would go into the bathroom and I would just move. I would just freaking move and I wanted it to be over. I wanted it just to be rainbows and butterflies, and we all just live a beautiful, happy life. So, yeah, it got bad. I remember a lot now that I'm thinking about it. I remember being at the daycare center. My dad and my mom would take me to the babysitters. And this is where my second trauma happened, where I was sexually assaulted at the age of, I don't know, was I 5 or 6, by a 17-year-old male. And you can just use your imagination, God. I didn't say a peep. I remember feeling, well, we don't need to go there today. But I remember just feeling, what did I even feel at that moment? So confused, very confused. And anyway, so this babysitter, there was a foster home. So tons of kids there, my God. Different age groups, and I hated going there. Well, let me use better language. I didn't really like going to the babysitters. I would rather be outside, playing in the woods, playing with my toys, my Power Rangers, or just playing with my imagination. And that's what I did for a very long time until this very moment. Hence why movement has always been my medicine. And so I remember being at the daycare. I remember being at the babysitters, and I haven't seen my mom in a couple weeks, I believe. And then she shows up out of nowhere at the babysitters. Hold on, God, there's some water. God, I remember this like yesterday. My mom is gorgeous. And I mean, everyone's gorgeous in my eyes. I believe we come from the same energy. So we were all gorgeous and beautiful and divine. But anyway, my mom had this red dress on and this red lipstick. And my mom also has this really cool hair. Like she has like this fire ginger hair. But, and that's probably why I have blonde hair in my arms. It's pretty unique. And we love that hair, uniqueness. But anyway, my mom picks me up. I'm like, oh, hi, Mom. Like, really excited to see her. And I remember the older guys at the Forrester home. They would always say, your mom's so hot. I'm like, ugh, gross. That's my mom you're talking about. So, my mom picked me up. I was excited to see her. I didn't really understand what was going on, but I was excited to see her. But I also had like that gut feeling, like something just doesn't seem right. So we get to my dad's house, and there's this big freaking mover truck, and these guys are coming in and they're taking out furniture. I'm like, whoa, are we moving, Mom? Like, what's happening? She says, yes, we're moving, and I have someone I want you to meet. Oh boy. And I was very confused of what is happening. I mean, I was 6, 7, around that age frame. And so I had this really nasty pit feeling. God, Rattlers, whoever's with me. And it didn't look like my dad knew about this, so I can only imagine what he was probably thinking. And so we get to this house, and this house almost looked burnt down. And my mom, we were driving a white Chrysler, and my mom is like, are you ready to, this was her exact words, are you ready to meet your new dad? Just like that. I'm like, come again, what? And I'm like, I already have a dad, Mom. Well, this is your new dad. Okay. So we go in this dark house. It's like a party house. It's like, where the F am I? I am not in fucking Kansas anymore. There are people smoking, drinking, doing the nasty, doing the thing. And I'm like, Mom, what? And so I remember meeting my mom's boyfriend, the man that she was cheating on my dad with. And I'm not going to use his name, but let's call him Gerald. Let's just call him Gerald. Let me write that down so I don't forget. Because sometimes my brain just goes over the fucking place, so Gerald. Got it. Noted. And he had this big afro, like this, a big O afro with a pick in it. Oh my God. And it would just fucking bounce, man. Like he would just do this and the hair would, I mean, it was pretty cool hairstyle, I'll give him that. But he was wearing this lime green shirt, which I'm like, whoa, I totally forgot about that. Which Rattlebones is, what color? Lime green. And he had this lime green shirt on, and Michael Jackson was on his shirt. Was it Michael Jackson? I think it was Michael Jackson, and the only reason why I say I think because it was a baby. And Michael Jackson or whoever, it was either Michael Jackson or Tupac. I want to say it was Michael Jackson. But he had this little afro and a little diaper on, and he was just sitting there. And so the rest is kind of history, meaning my mom's like, well, this is your new dad. Great. So if my mom could have her way, she wouldn't have ever let me see Mark again, which was my dad, who adopted me when I was 4. However, my mom and my dad were married. So my mom just couldn't say, peace out, Girl Scout. There's a protocol. And so my dad wanted to see me on the weekends. And I really didn't understand what was happening. I was so confused, so lost, and actually really scared, because just seeing Gerald, he looked very intimidating. And I'm like, oh, you don't want to piss him off. One second. But at the time, he seemed really nice. I remember going to our new home, and it was this longest driveway. Like, it literally reminded me of the Great Wall of China. It was like a never-ending driveway. And it was a brick house, and it was cute. Oh, as I just spit eggs everywhere, fuck it. And I remember just thinking, I don't know if I'm gonna like this transition. And so I would see my dad on the weekends, and then there was a point in my life where Gerald went to boot camp, and I don't know what they did to him at boot camp, but he came back as a freaking demon. And my mom was pregnant with my oldest sister. Her name's Carly. Oh God, how old is she now? I want to say she's 23, 24. I'm the oldest, 35. And there's 7 of us, so my mom got jiggy with it. And so anyway, I remember my mom being pregnant. I remember my mom smacked me for the first time across my face. And I was just my mom has never put her hands on me, but I remember the first time she smacked me across my face, because I did not want to call Gerald my dad. I said, he's not my dad. Bam! Okay, he's my dad. And I remember my mom having Carly. And again, my mom was very young still. She was 16 years old. So my mom was probably, I don't know, early 20s at this time. She had Carly, and my mom and Gerald were never home, ever. They were, better language. They were home, but not like you would think. They would come home, do what they do, meaning get high and go leave. And I was stuck here taking care of my sister. And not to take care of a little babysitting. No, this is beyond babysitting. I would watch my sister for days. And not only with that, so I had to learn how to be a nurse real effing quick. At the age of 8, 9, 10, I think this is the time frame. So I had to I keep saying as you know, but you don't know. Well, God knows, because God was there. But I had to put the bottle in the microwave, test it on my skin, make sure it wasn't too hot. I had to put the baby formula, the powder, and mix it. I had to put the Desintent on my sister's bottom because she had a diaper rash. It was just absurd. And I had to play Cinderella. And the Cinderella was not just do the basic cleaning. I had to hands and knees with the toothbrush. True cleaning, the cracks. And it was just awful, 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 awful. And I say that because I wanted to be outside. My freedom got snatched. And I turned into a freaking housemate. A housemate, a mom, and a dad at the age of 9 years old. Just like that. So yeah, I needed to create my own fucking playground, period. Because just like Michael, his childhood was fucking snatched. And I get it. So mine was snatched and it was dropped down the drain, turned on the fucking blender, it was gone. And so when Gerald came back from boot camp, that is kind of when, I don't know what triggered him in that process. Something where he turned violent. Violent. And I don't understand, how can anyone hurt? I don't understand, how can we hurt people? My brain doesn't commute. How can you put your hands on someone? How can you say you love someone and then physically hurt them? That's not love. I don't know what that is, but it ain't love. So anyway, I remember I used to collect Beanie Babies. And I loved going to my dad's house because it was like fucking heaven. Meaning I could be in freedom. I didn't have to clean. I didn't have to watch my sister or brother. Like, I had freedom. And I didn't tell my dad what was going on because, I don't know, I was scared. And so I remember my dad and I would go to this store. I think it was called G. Willikers. What a name. And I would collect Beanie Babies. And so how the arrangement would work, my mom would drop me off. We would meet at Food Lion. I don't even know if that's still a thing anymore. Which is kind of like now, I guess, a Fry's, so to speak. And I had my Beanie Babies with me, and my mom picked me up with Gerald, and I thought my fucking heart was going to fall out my ass. And so we get back, and they were always late. My mom was always late picking me up, and I was like, oh God, yeah, maybe I can stay another day. That's how bad it was. Like, I was terrified to go home because that's where, it was literally like going to Freddy Cougar's house. The yelling, the abuse, all of it. And I don't know what 8-year-old or 9-year-old wants to be in that type of environment. I don't know if anyone wants to be in that type of environment. But here we are. So I had my Beanie Babies, and Gerald said, you're not a girl. You don't need to collect Beanie Babies. And you know what he did? He grabbed my Beanie Babies and sliced them right in front of my face. And I just remember the beads just falling. And I was just, wow, okay. Well, this is really happening. This man is really slicing up my Beanie Babies right in front of my own eyes. And what can I say? Nothing. And I remember just having this anger. And not even necessarily towards Gerald, but towards my mom, because my mom was just sitting there. Sitting there and allowing it to happen. And so I was really starting to dislike my mom. And I was really confused when I was watching I Love Lucy and all those romantic shows because I wasn't feeling that in the environment that I was in. So even then I started to feel like, okay, what they show on TV is a fucking illusion. It ain't real. Wow, I haven't talked about this in a long time, so emotions might come. Let it out. This is a place to do it. So anyway, my Beanie Babies were chopped into pieces, and I don't know, I became Gerald's punching bag. physically, mentally, emotionally. And yeah, oh my God, there's just so much trauma, so much. And we can be here for hours talking about it. And we are. And let's see. So I remember being at my dad's, and Gerald and my dad, Mark, finally had, they finally met. And my dad was never a fan of Gerald to begin with. And I remember being at my dad's, and they were late picking me up, so we went back home to my dad's house. And they, meaning my mom and Gerald, were late picking me up from Food Lion. And I was like so excited. I'm like, oh my God, Dad, thank God I get to go back to your house. Like, I don't want to go back to the Freddy Cougar house. So, God, it's just so different. But we didn't have cell phones back then. I mean, the phones were literally those phones that you would take off the wall and make a phone call. I remember my dad's number. I remember 9122. I think it was, remember back in the day? Like, we would remember phone numbers. And now that I say it now, I can't fucking remember it. What was my dad's number? Oh well, it'll come back to me later. So anyway, we were at my dad's house. My mom and Gerald got there, and my dad was like, he's not going back with you. He's staying here with me. And my mom was like, no, he's my son. You can't do that. And then I remember going into my room, hiding underneath the bed, because it's so traumatic. And yeah, one thing led to another. I just remember hiding. It's almost like, if you ever seen a horror movie and the bad guy's in the house and you're like, and you go underneath the bed and you're like hoping and praying they don't find you, but you know they're probably gonna find you. And so Gerald finds me. And snatches me from beneath the bed. And I feel like I was gonna split in two. I had my dad pulling one arm, Gerald pulling the other. Let go. And then my dad lets go, and he, I can't really talk about the other part because it's violent and we don't need to talk about that. So anyway, long story short, I went back with my mom and Gerald. I probably got the shit kicked out of me, probably for what I did. I'm pretty sure I did. I know I did. I have scars on my back to prove it, the abuse. So anyway, man, what a fucking journey. Oh my God, what a journey. So yeah, there's been a lot of trauma. There's been a lot of, I can't believe this is happening to me. I can't believe this is actually real. So when I'm in my playground, I'm releasing all of that and so much more. So yeah, it does look chaotic, beautiful, because what I just released wasn't beautiful and rainbows and butterflies. And that's not even the half of it. Oh my God. So let's fast forward a little bit. I remember the last time I saw my mom was in 2010. And I haven't looked back. And right before I came to where I'm at now, I feel like and there's so much data that needs to be to be placed, but I just want to, there's a lot of data, and within that data is very violent, and I just don't want to go through that portal right now. So let's just say this, a lot of abuse, a lot. Not just on me, but my mom. And I remember this one incident. I'll share this. Gerald was a computer whiz. He loved fixing computers. That was his job. And he could hack into any computer. Password, he can get viruses off your computer. He was very talented in that regard. And I remember we were staying at a hotel. This time, give you some more data. There is Carly, Carter, Coy. I don't think Corbin was born yet. Okay, so it was just the four of us. And we did have a place, we did have a home, but we got kicked out because the landlord, someone complained about pot being smelled, and then the landlord said, yeah, we can't do that here. And so we got kicked out. And not only that, Gerald had a warrant for his arrest. So we were like, it was like cops and fucking robbers. And so we kind of fled. And I remember staying in I remember staying in hotels a lot. We stayed in a lot of hotels. And I remember staying in a dorm room. Gerald had a friend, a college buddy. And I cannot make that up. But literally, me, my sister, my two brothers, we were all in a fucking dorm room closet because the roommate, his name was Nick. Nick's roommate was not okay with having kids being in a dorm room. So can you imagine 4 kids? If you've ever been to college, if you've ever been in a dorm room, it's a tight little space. But 4 of us all hunched in the closet. We couldn't say a peep. We had to keep our mouths zipped for hours. And I remember like peeking out, Mom, Carly has to use the bathroom. Tell her to hold it. We didn't have clothes. Well, I'll take that back. My sister had like t-shirt, and my brothers had like t-shirts and just diapers or pull-ups on, and I just had whatever the fuck. I don't even know what I had. Not much, I'll tell you that. And so we did get caught. I don't know how you can really think you can get away of hiding 4 kids in a college dorm room. Come on. And it's just so unfortunate because Nick, he got kicked out. Nick was the friend that was helping Gerald that allowed us to stay there. And Nick got kicked out of college for it. And their friendship kind of just faded. So then we just stayed on beaches, and that maybe sound nice, but no. It was awful. We slept in just homeless. I guess that's the beautiful word to say it. And the camel, what is that saying? The camel that broke the straw. It doesn't matter. What really tipped the boat, so to speak, we were at this hotel, this hole-in-a-wall hotel, but I was just grateful not to sleeping on the beach, getting eat up by ants. I was just grateful not to be in a van anymore. So I was counting my blessings. And I don't know who remembers this, but making the band with P. Diddy. And they were having an audition, I think, where were we at? I want to say South Carolina or North Carolina. One of the two. Either way, my mom really wanted to try out. Like I stated earlier, my mom really wanted to be a singer. And she wanted to try out, but we didn't. We got into a really big fight, my mom and Gerald, where I think he hit her, and her face was kind of messed up, so she couldn't audition. And I also didn't understand that, like, my mom and Gerald would say they love each other, but how can you love someone if you're cheating on them and physically abusing them? How is that love? Okay, I need to. We're gonna walk and talk because my partner would be home around 1 o'clock, so I need to clean the house so it's nice and neat and pretty. So first, let's go over here. Oops! Oh my God, almost fell. What I like to do, I like to put on these wallpapers. It just kind of like helps me get in the cleaning spirit. I don't know what the fuck that is. Since it's, let's listen to some water. That sounds nice. Okay. Hang on tight, God. Here we go. Okay. Now, where was I at? Oh, yeah, I remember. So we were in this hotel room, and God, I remember it literally just like yesterday. So my siblings and I were sleeping on the floor where we slept majority of the time. So, and I just remember our bodies just being so sore. Like, sleeping on a floor is not comfortable. And we're kids. God, how old was I? I think I was 12. No, I think I was 12 or 11. Wow, it's nuts. But anyway, we were watching Cartoon Network. I don't know if that's even a thing anymore. I think we were watching The Last Samurai. It's so shocking that I remember all this. Wow. But yeah, we were sitting down, and I remember my mom being on the bed, doing whatever she was doing. I think she was watching the show with us, actually. I don't know, she was doing something. And then Gerald was at the little table on the laptop. And I don't know how this will resonate, but if you've ever heard the name Rodney Jenkins, he is a music producer, and he's done, if you listen to Britney Spears' Overprotected remix when she's in New York, I think she's in New York, and she's wearing those like Daisy Dukes with the pink, really cool, what do you call those things? Oh, I'm having a brain fart. Damn it. I can't think, but they're pink, and she looks freaking amazing, and she's in a limo, or like that limo like truck, or what the fuck it's called, SUV, and it kind of like stretches out, and she's doing her thing with her little skirt on, being Britney. And anyway, that producer made that beat. And if you know the song by Destiny's Child, Beyonce, Kelly, Michelle, Lose My Breath, he also produced that beat. And I'm pretty sure many more, but those are the two main ones that I know. But anyway, my mom was talking to Rodney Jenkins, and my mom did not have money, so she wanted some studio time. So use your imagination. She was basically going to, do some things to get some studio time, which is, wow. And I remember Gerald like being on the computer typing, and all of a sudden he's asking, oh, this is on Facebook. There it is. So I'll connect to me now. Facebook Messenger. And Gerald was asking my mom, what's your password? And my mom kept saying, I don't know. And he was like, I'm just summarizing what I can remember. He just kept asking, what's your password? And she was saying, I don't know. And he was like, okay. And he got in. And this, okay, viewer discretion advised. Whoever is watching, God. So I just remember us laying down, my siblings and I, and it almost felt like 4th of July happened. I just remember seeing these sparks just fly. And I'm like, whoa, what is that? And I kid you not, Gerald literally, okay, so back in the day, computers, there was like the computer itself, and then you have the monitor screen. He fucking went ape shit. He literally got the computer monitor, threw it at my mom's head. Sparks, my mom, it was like a waterfall of blood just rushed. Like, I couldn't even recognize my mom. And then he just, from the chair that he was in, bolted to the bed where my mom was at, grabbed her, and my mom's like a tiny, petite little thing, picks her up, throws her into the wall. And remember, my little sister, my little brother, my other little brother are witnessing this. Okay? And then I'm also witnessing this, and I am just, what? I mean, Gerald has hit my mom multiple times, but never this severe. Well, and you know what's also interesting? He was upset because she was getting ready to cheat on him, but he has been cheating on her left and right for years. Getting other girls pregnant, that's totally fine. Texting other girls, that's totally fine. And I'm not saying what my mom did was right, but how is it okay for you to do that? And then if my mom plays your game, then you beat the fuck out of her? Come on. So anyways, yeah, my mom didn't, I didn't even recognize, my mom's face was so swollen. I think he broke her nose. Let me put the dishes in the dishwasher here. I gotta multitask. And so I also remember the door, if you ever been into a hotel room or, yeah, I guess hotel rooms mainly have this, but that latch on the door, that extra security. And thank God someone called the police because of the commotion and the screaming. It was like bloody murder. I have never heard anyone scream like this. Like my mom screaming is just like, oh, it's piercing to the soul. But anyway, what was I doing? I think I told my sister, like, close her eyes. I don't remember. It was so scary, and I didn't even know what I was experiencing. I thought my mom was going to die. I literally thought he was going to kill her. Because he wouldn't stop. My mom's face. So, my brother, oh, thank God for my little brother. So the cops were trying to get in the door. I was paralyzed. My brother and my sister, they unhooked the latch so the cops can come in. They grabbed Gerald. And they put him on the bed, and they took out, he had some things in his pocket, and my mouth dropped. I just saw wads of hundreds. Here we are starving. We haven't eaten in days, and this man has $100 bills. We were literally vomiting up liquid because we haven't eaten in days. And this man has 100 wads of money. So, I remember getting interviewed from the police, and they were like, your mom needs to go to the hospital. But my mom said, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. Why, I don't know. Her face was just unrecognizable. God, like, fuck. And they took Gerald away for a couple of days. I think they took him, I don't know. I think they took him to jail. Yeah, I think that's where he went. But he was out like in 2 days. My mom vanished, disappeared. I didn't see my mom for 3 days. And I remember my siblings, again, were really throwing up liquid. They haven't eaten, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? We don't have diapers. We don't have anything. So I am just, then I'm starting to feel sick because I haven't eaten anything. Like, it was bad. And then I remember my mom bringing this guy over to the hotel. The fuck's this dude? They go in the bathroom. Use your imagination. And then we get food. So, there's that. So, let's fast forward. The cops said, we need to take you somewhere safe, your brothers and sisters. And that is when I got in contact with my dad, because I haven't talked to my mom wouldn't allow me to call my dad based on Gerald's rules. So I didn't talk to my dad for like, I don't know, a year or 2 years. Could you imagine it? Fuck. Anyway, so we went to Fauquier County. So Gerald's mom took us in. So I guess you can say my step grandmother. And beautiful house. And I was just so shucking up. Like, I literally just watched my mom get the crap beat out of her. And we haven't eaten, and I was just, I don't even know. And so, yeah, it was challenging. So I remember getting to my grandmother's house, and she took us in. We went to Walmart, we got clothes, we got food, God, I can't tell you the last time we took a shower. It just felt good to feel somewhat safe. And I got enrolled in school, in high school. I went to Liberty High School, and high school for me was very interesting. Because I lost a lot of I lost a lot of communication skills. We've been homeless for a year and a half or a little bit longer. So it took me a while to actually to be comfortable to be around people. I've been so isolated. And so I remember my childhood buddies that I knew when my mom was with Gerald, Derek and Larry and Jordan. And we were like this. And thank God when I went to Liberty High, my buddy Larry, I think he was a junior, or was he a senior? Doesn't matter. So I actually knew a little bit. I knew some people. And yeah, my freshman year of high school, wow, what a roller coaster. And then I remember getting into sports because I just needed to be active. And I remember there used to be this, what do you call it? FCA, which stands for Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And I remember doing camps. What they would do is they would have these sporting camps at the high school, and they would have cheerleading, basketball, soccer. What else did they have? I think those were the 4 main sports. Anyway, we would be not really coaches, but we would help the kids, and it was just really cool, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed it, and I remember really starting to find my way. Thank God. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so I was in high school, and yeah, high school was good. It was really fun for me. I was the mascot. We were a Liberty Eagle. How divine, because my dad actually has, well, he had a eagle tattoo on his arm, and then he had a rose here. And for those who don't know, my dad passed away from stage 4 colon cancer about 3 years ago. Anyway, so my dad was back in my life. That felt really good, and I remember always calling my dad on the phone, and we would just talk, and I mean, we had so much to talk about. And my dad came to all my sporting events, and it was just really nice to have my dad back into my life, and God, what a saving grace. And yeah, high school, wow, what a ride. What a ride. Okay, so then I remember my senior year, my mom lost custody of us. So my grandmother took full custody of us. Thank God. What a blessing. I should probably reach out to her. I haven't talked to her in a while. Should probably reach out to her. Because what she did was amazing. She took in 4 kids that weren't hers, and I'm just so grateful for that. Wow. Damn. What a journey. It's interesting when you just reflect it all back. Wow. So, high school, junior year, getting ready to graduate, I wanted to get a job. And, I was ready to make some money, and I was really excited to drive, and I wanted to have that independence. So my cousin, she worked at this nursing home, and it was called Oak Springs of Warrenton. I remember starting in dietary, and I did not like it. You had to wear these baggy pants and this big white shirt, and just not my cup of tea. And I remember going on the dementia and Alzheimer's unit, and I just fell in love. I fell in love with just the history. I would love to go into the patients' rooms and just see all the beautiful pictures on the wall and seeing their love story. Like, I'm a hopeless romantic. And I just love seeing their wedding pictures, and when they were younger in their prime, and where they are now and their grandkids. It was just so beautiful. And I would always tell myself, goals. Oh, yeah, I need to be cleaning. And so, anyway, I was working in dietary for not very long because I couldn't like it. I didn't like it. And I didn't like doing the dishes. I didn't like doing any of that. It was boring. And I remember seeing this resident, and he was sitting, and he had dementia, and I really wanted to go help him. So I didn't know any better. So I'm like, oh. So I go over there, sit down, and I'm trying to feed him, and the nurse is like, no, you can't feed him. You have to be certified, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh. What does that inquire? Oh, you have to be a CNA. And I'm like, yeah, no, you lost me. I'm not doing that. Bye. But every time I went to, it was the North Unit. That's what they call it. I just kept seeing this resident. And I just wanted to help. And the family would come and go, but not really. And if anyone's relates to this, it's hard to see a family member that has dementia. Their memory is just not like it used to be, so it can be difficult. My grandmother, part of the reason why I moved to where I'm at now, because my dad said, your grandmother has dementia and I can really use your help taking care of her. So that's part of the reason why I moved to where I'm at, to help my dad take care of my grandparents. And so I got to my resident helper. That was the next step. I had to become a resident helper. And with that, you answer call lights, you pass ice, which I really, really enjoyed. You would do activities with the residents. I liked it, but then I wanted to do a little bit more. And so then they were saying, well, you have to go to CNA school. And luckily, where I went to high school, they had a CNA program. And it was in the same district, so I went to Liberty High School. They were having the CNA program at Fauquier High School, which is actually our rival. They were the Falcons, the Fauquier Falcons, and we were the Liberty Eagles, LHS. And, God, that was interesting times. So I remember becoming a resident helper, and then I remember going the first day of CNA school. We had to wear these white scrubs and had to be tucked in. And yeah, I really fell in love with it. I fell in love with taking care of the residents and brushing their hair and brushing their teeth. Yeah. That's how I would take care of my residents. I would clean underneath their nails to make sure there's no BM or dirt underneath. And I would really get excited if I knew their family was coming, because I really wanted them to look presentable. And I would make sure the room's nice and tidy, make sure the bed's nice and neat. So why not? And yeah, but man, those sundowners, woo! Damn. Yeah, dementia and Alzheimer's, it's something, but it's probably my favorite field to work in. It's just so, every day is something different. But anyway, so I did that for a long time, and I would see the nurses, and I always looked at the nurses like, damn, there's just go, pass meds, go. And yeah, sure, I could have went to nursing school a long time ago, but I just didn't feel the calling then, because I saw how stressful it looked. And I also saw how from what I've seen, you don't really have that connection like you do with the aide, because the aides, they go in there, they check on the patient, the resident first, because that's kind of like their role. And the nurses are kind of more of the step back, gotta get the meds, a lot of documentation. No thanks. And I just saw how stressful it looked. So I was like, yeah, I'm good doing this for a while. And I really, really loved it. And I actually would continue doing it if CNAs got paid more of their value. That's a whole different story. And so I remember us getting this one particular resident. And I know you're not supposed to have favorites. I know. But this patient really just touched my soul. And it's interesting because nurses, at least the nurses that I were working with, did not like this patient. And that's when I started to really look at the system. I'm like, I thought nurses are supposed to help any soul and not really judge them on their background or their chart. And this patient, how can I say it? This patient was paralyzed. This patient was drunk driving from the cops, lost control, and got hit by a semi, and from the waist down, paralyzed, and couldn't eat. The speech was jacked. And I remember this one particular nurse, I was just really shocked at what she said. She's like, no, I'm not going to take care of that patient. And even the other nurses didn't want to take care of the patient. And, resident. And I was just shocked. And so even the other CNA females didn't want to take care of him. I'm like, what? Why? Like, I didn't understand that. He is just like us. And how is that professional if we are not wanting to take care of a patient, resident, because of their background. And in nursing school, I thought that was a big no-no. But anyway, what time is that? Oh shit, I need to clean it. So anyway, let's speed this up. The patient, the resident's mom would always come in, and she would always say, "Thank you for taking care of my son. He just seems to bright up when you take care of him." And it was just really nice to hear that. And I would read to him, and even if I didn't have that section, I would always go and check on him to see how he's doing. I would even switch. Sometimes I would switch different residents so I can have this particular resident so I can make sure he's getting the good care that he needs. And I miss him. And I don't know how he's doing. I left in 2010, but he was still kicking and breathing and doing tremendously well. So that's really breathtaking. So, right before I moved to where I'm at now, it was around Valentine's Day. I remember having a BlackBerry. Oh my God. And those little phone, like let me look how big my fingers are. Christ. So anyway, trying to text on a BlackBerry was very challenging. And I remember when the flip Razor came out, like, how cool, right? The Razor phone. And I remember asking my mom, I'm like, "Mom, I need to go to the airport. Will you be willing to take me?" And this is around, like I stated, February, around Valentine's Day. And right before that, I had a talk with my dad. And my dad said, "Would you want to move to AZ?" And I said, "Yeah." Hello. And so that was the plan. And before that, he said, "Well, I'll fly you out here for a week, see if you like it. And if you do, you can move in with me. We'll have to share a room, but we'll make it work." So I'm like, "All right, cool. Fuck yeah, let's do it, Dad." And so the next day, my mom and I had a Honda Prelude. I love that car. My aunt gave it to me, Randy, and she was so cool. And so anyway, it's snowing, and black ice is a real thing in Virginia. So it was snowing, so we were driving extra cautious. And my mom, the day before, she was like, "Can we go to this house?" And this house is where Gerald was staying. And I'm like, "Okay, tell me more." And she's like, "Well, I have a feeling that Gerald is cheating on me." Ooh, shocker. These bathrooms. Okay, so my mom was like, "I think Gerald is cheating on me." And I said, "Mom, does that really surprise you if he is? I mean, hello? I mean, after he beat my mom's ass, she's still..." So, like, I've tipped my tail into the 3D world where people are like, won't you just leave someone if they put your hands on you? Yeah, it's not that easy, especially if it's a female male thing. Like, my mom, for some reason, she just gravitated towards that energy. I know, it's not healthy. What do I need to do here? So anyway, we were driving and we got to Gerald's house, and my mom is also pregnant again, by the way. And my mom says, okay, stay here. I'm like, Mom, I have to be at the airport, and what are you expecting to see? I just want to see, if he's cheating on me. Now, my mom has never physically caught Gerald until this moment I'm about to tell you, but it's always been through texting. Like, he would be texting other girls or stuff like that, or pictures would come up, and of course, he would always deny it. Anyway, I have zero tolerance for cheaters. Compassion, they don't know any better. Anyway, so I'm like waiting, tick tock, Mom, we gotta go. And she is not coming out, and I'm like looking at the clock. So I'm like, all right, I'm going in this bitch, and I have no idea what to expect. And I should have prepared myself. So I go into this house, and I just hear this, again, chaos. Girls screaming, and my mom is on top of these. Okay, so there's Gerald in the middle of the bed, and there are literally two girls butt naked. Use your imagination, right? And this is supposed to be a married man, Christian this, go to church this. And I couldn't freaking believe my eyeballs. So my mom is literally on top of this girl, has her by her hair. And then this other girl tries to go up and attack my mom. And I'm like, oh, no, we don't do any jumping here. Oh, no. And so I'm trying to pull this girl off of my mom. And I'm like, Mom, we have to go. It's not worth it. And then I don't know what happened to me because I kind of blacked out. There was a lamp almost like this. Something like that. Oh, I'm not even showing. My bad, God. And I just grabbed the lamp. I know. And I grabbed it, and I was getting ready to hit Rodney. Oh, Gerald. And I didn't. I put it down. But I was just so angry. And my mom's like, no, we gotta go. They're calling the cops. And we rush out the house. My mom's face is all cut up. Like, come on. And she's pregnant. Ay, caramba. So anyway, we get in the Haunted Prelude, and we're just like, I'm shaking. Like, I can't believe what I just witnessed. Like, you see this stuff in the movies, but when it actually physically happens in your own world, whoa, what a game changer. Let me bring you over here. I gotta clean the kitchen. A little bit closer. I'm gonna buy me one of those little mics so you can hear me better, God, or whoever's watching. So anyway, we're in the car. My mom's crying, and I don't like seeing people cry because when I see people cry, I want to start crying. And it's just, it was just, wow. So I said, Mom, this is what I'm willing to do. I am moving, and I'm not looking back. I will give you this Haunted Prelude, but just please, for the love of fucking God, leave him. He's cheating on you. He beats you. How is that love? I know, and this time it's really done, and I can't believe it. We're really done this time. No, they weren't. So, actually, we can do this. Alright. So anyway, I moved 2010. Haven't been back to Virginia since recently for my LDT program. And so now there's some data. So anyway, fast forward, I got to Phoenix. I took care of my grandparents. That was also challenging, taking care of my grandmother. I remember going into the refrigerator one day, and my grandmother was like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Grandma, it's me, your grandson." "I don't have a grandson." "What?" Oh my God. And then there would be sometimes in the middle of the night, my grandma would scream because she didn't remember that she was married. And she was like, "Who's this man in my bed?" I know, like, wow. It was just so sad. Like, I really love my grandparents because they represented the kind of longevity relationship that I desire to have with my partner now. You know, you get old together, and my grandpa, he would open the door for my grandma. Like, he was just such a gentleman, and thank you, Grandpa, because I learned a lot from you. But yeah, when she wouldn't remember who her husband is, could you imagine? Like, my grandpa would just cry, and it was just so sad. There it is. And when my grandmother passed, it almost reminds me so much of The Notebook, and which is one of my favorite movies. And what happened was she passed away, and I think a week later, not even that, he was gone. I want to cry. Like, I'm getting goosebumps. Look at that, all over my arm. I feel your grandparents. Yeah, I don't ever remember hearing my grandparents argue. Wow. Really beautiful souls. I guess that goes there. That goes there. I don't know where the fuck this goes. Maybe you don't. We're just going to put this down here. Nope, that doesn't go there. Oh, there it goes. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, once they passed, we sold the house, and I didn't go to nursing school yet. I was still doing CNA work. I did behavioral health. Oh my God. Oh, baby Jesus. That was probably the most challenging gigs I ever had in my life. Behavioral health, working with, I think adolescents were way challenging, but suicidal thoughts, these, I keep saying, but these, now these were patients because they didn't live there, but these patients were self-harmers. They, schizo, bipolar. Yeah, that was challenging. And I worked on a lockdown unit, which never again, because we got our ass kicked. I remember, oh my God, I think this was probably my last day that I worked there because I couldn't do it anymore. It was at a psych hospital. Rough, fucking rough. Just, anyway, we had these bracelets, and these bracelets would get us in the doors. And obviously, especially the adolescents, they picked up on that. And so they would always watch us like beep the doors with our bracelets. And I can't tell you how many code, I think was it code white, which is AWOL. And God, what a shit show that was. However, there was this one particular moment that I'll never forget. We just got this new patient, and it's interesting because she looks so much like my stepdaughter. And she was blonde, beautiful blue eyes, and all the girls were like hating on her. And I think she was like 13 or 14. And she came up to me, she's like, I don't feel safe. And so working in that field, we had to do Q15s, which means we had to check on the patients every 15 minutes just to make sure they were alive and breathing. And so we were at the cafeteria, and it just happened so fast, just in the blink of an eye. The patient was right next to me. I turned to talk to another nurse or BHT, I don't remember. And then I just felt this wind. Whoa, and these girls ran up to the patient, attacked her, and they were giving it to her. They grabbed her by her hair, tuck her down, and code green, code green, code green. And that means we gotta, what's the word I'm looking for? Shit, I'm having a brain fart. I haven't used this terminology in a while. Restraints, there it is. So yeah, we had to restrain the girls, and we're calling more nurses and BHTs to come in, and it was just a freaking brawl. If anyone's seen the movie, well, God, have you seen the movie Mean Girls? When Lindsay Lohan is just sitting there in the cafeteria at the table, and they just kind of go at it. It was like that. I have never seen anything like that. It was just so terrifying to actually see something like that in real life, and your brain is just going 500 miles per hour. I mean, you're just seeing food fly everywhere, girls are screaming, and it was just awful. Awful. And I said, the hell with this gig, I'm out. Yeah, that was rough. And then, we had behavioral health is something. And I'll probably never do it again. I think I'm going to look more towards the hospice route if I decide to go back into that field, maybe. But anyway, so yeah, that was just very, so I did behavioral health. I did a lot of one-on-ones, which was nice. I guess it was kind of like hospice, but not really. It wasn't called hospice. It was called Right at Home, and you would just go there with the patient and, I keep saying but change them, meds, feed them. I remember this one, again, I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but I really, really, really enjoyed this particular patient. And I just really loved putting him in the wheelchair and taking him outside, and the wife will come in. She's like, oh my God, I haven't seen him up like that in days, or oh my God, he's outside. And this particular patient, he was an inventor of something in Alaska, if I remember correctly. Something with, I don't know, he was just an inventor, and he invented something in Alaska, and it was really just beautiful, again, to see a relationship longevity, and it was just nice to witness. And I did that for a while until I was kind of over that, meaning because you have to do everything by yourself, and I kind of was feeling lonely, meaning like I miss talking to other like healthcare professionals, and I would need help sometimes, like putting these patients in the shower by yourself. I mean, it's a lot on your back. And so I'm like, yeah, this was fun, but I'm ready for something different. And fast forward, I did a lot of agency gigs, and then I went to nursing school after my divorce because I just needed to clear my brain. I didn't want to think about any relationship. I was like, I'm done with relationships. I am just going to work on me for a few years. And that's what I did. And I graduated nursing school, and nursing school was very challenging for me because working full-time and just trying to put myself back together was rough. And then the last year of nursing school, and which was the hardest year because we had OB, which was a nightmare, and labor and delivery, nightmare, and peds. Oh, if you know, you know. And so I was driving. My aunt calls me. She says, "Hey, are you driving right now?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Okay, well, can you pull over?" And I'm like, "Oh shit." So I pull over and I'm like, "What's going on?" She's like, "Well, I don't know how bad it is, but your dad was diagnosed with colon cancer." And I remember I used to be a go-go dancer, and I would call my dad on Tuesday nights, and my dad did not like me being a go-go dancer. And honestly, I didn't like being a go-go dancer because, Mom, I feel like, here's the thing. I loved being like in the music and just moving my body. And I mean, I can move my body for hours. And we would dance for hours on those little boxes. But, you know, you are, I did it again. How I viewed it was you just looked like a sex object. And I'm telling myself I'm way more than a sex object. And I want to be seen for my movement, not for what's going on downstairs, if you know what I mean. And so, let me pick this up a little bit. I kind of want to go get Boo Thing some flowers. Maybe. So anyway, I remember one time I was go-go dancing, and my buddy was dancing on a box, and I remember him jumping off the box, grabbing, he literally, and kudos, I'm glad he did this, because where is security? Anyway, he's grabbing this guy, and he's like, "Don't you ever put your hand in my booty hole." Yes. We would get touched like that. And I get it, but then I don't get it. I get it as the sense, yeah, we're in that scene, yeah, but it doesn't mean we need to be touched or disrespected. So anyway, but at the time I needed money, and I wanted to stay active, and I really did enjoy being with the Go-Go Boys. It was really fun. A fun experience. But also it comes with a lot of toxicity. You have people constantly judging you on your looks, mainly on your looks, judging you on your crotch size, like if that makes a difference. It's just, I had to get out of that environment. And so yeah, my aunt tells me my dad has stage 4 colon cancer. And oh yeah, that's what I was saying. My dad when he would call me on Tuesdays, we would almost talk every Tuesday night when I was driving to the club that I was go-go dancing at. He would tell me I'm having stomach pain, I'm having a difficult time hearing, and I'm like, "Dad, you need to go see the doctor." And you know what my dad would say? "I'll do it tomorrow." Tomorrow. Well, God, Rattlers, tomorrow ran out. And so my dad's like, "It's not that bad. I'll be fine. Don't you worry." And you know, I was worried because my dad wasn't active. My dad had depression. My dad drunk almost a 24-pack of beer a night. So yeah, I was worried. I didn't tell him that, but I was worried. I was worried shitless because my dad did not take care of his body. Hence why I'm such a believer of just move your body. It's not about choreography. It's not about perfection. It's not even about any of that. It's about just moving. Get it out. However that looks. And I'm like, "Dad, there's a Fry's grocery store. You can literally walk to Fry's, walk back." But here's the thing. He couldn't even do that. And my dad would sleep all day, and he was a night owl. He'll sleep all day, and then he'll wake up. He also did chewing tobacco. Ugh, God. And he would watch Cops, and he would watch the O'Reilly show. God. And my dad and I would watch, we loved Star Trek. We would watch Forensic Files, the crime show, and how the stars align. They will always look at the bone for DNA, and now look where we are. And what else would we watch? Oh, my dad loved Seinfeld. I loved Elaine. She's so fucking funny. And Kramer. My dad liked Kramer. I was Elaine. I liked Elaine. She was funny. And we would watch King of the Hill, The Simpsons. What was the other one? Oh, there it is. Twilight Zone. Damn, I haven't watched that in a while. But yeah, we watched the Twilight Zone. And so, yeah, it's just, wow. So when I found out my dad had stage colon cancer, I really didn't know what to do with myself. I wasn't trying to freak out, but I was also very terrified because my dad was my best friend. My dad loved me unconditionally. My dad never once tried to change who I was. And just being in the world where I was at, I'm like, wow, how am I ever going to find that again? So it was my last year of nursing school. I'll just drop something. Fuck it. And I was already stressed out already. Like exams, quizzes, no time to sleep. And we have the NCLEX coming up. So I'm like, this is coming at the worst time. So anyway, what happened after that? So we found out my father had stage 4 colon cancer in September. Take a breath. He passed in October. Just like that. Just like that. So I remember I was living downtown and I was really excited. It was really cool how this all happened because I moved in with one of my buddies and we were at a rooftop lounge, and I was looking exactly at the building that I really desired to live in. And it was called the Stewart. And I thought, well, Venom, of course, Slytherin, yeah, right, you can't get that. Your credit's not good enough, or you don't make enough money. I'm like, Venom, for once, quiet your tongue. I don't want to hear it. We will figure it out. So what I did was I would walk downtown and I would literally put my hand on the Stewart building. I'm like, one day I'm going to be in there. And long and behold, the first floor that I lived on was the 14th floor. I think that's very powerful because the seat that I sat at to take my boards, it was number 14. And then my partner puts the door code in, not even knowing what 14 even means. That's part of our door code. So 14 has been popping up all over the place. And then yesterday, we passed 1K. Thank you. Fuck yeah, let's go. And the 14th. And then all the sirens, the helicopter, all of the emergency vehicles were literally right here. I wonder what that means in the spirit world. So anyway, where am I going? Oh, so I wasn't expecting my dad to get sick so quickly. And he just went downhill, like, oh my God, like fast. So my dad actually drove himself to the hospital. My dad looked pregnant. Oh, that's what I was telling you. So we were in the Stewart, and then we were in the 14th floor, and then we went to the 18th floor, which was really cool. Like, it's really cool living downtown and living in the city, but I'm kind of over the city vibes. I'm more now like, I just want peace. I want quiet. I don't want to hear the sirens anymore. I want to hear the birds chirping. I want to see the hawks flying in the sky and the hummingbirds. I just want peace. And so the city life was cool until I was just kind of over it. But anyway, I remember inviting my dad over to the Stewart, my family, and it was just one of those moments where I was so proud of myself, and I was just so proud of where I've came, like what I have achieved, because there have been many dark nights, many where I said, fuck this, I don't want to live anymore, like many, because it felt like I was just in a nightmare. So anyway, it was a really happy, beautiful moment, but it was a struggle for my dad to even get into the building. And anyway, so his abdomen was full of BM, stool. And he looked pregnant, and at first I thought it was just from him drinking beer. I thought it was a beer belly, but no, it was BM packed up in his belly. Oh, my poor dad. Ooh, blah. So anyway, I'm getting chills. Look at that. Look at my arm. Damn. So anyway, we celebrated just the graduation of nursing school, which was a bitch. And it was just really nice to have my dad there and my cousins and my aunt. It was just like a really beautiful moment. And after that, my dad's health just went. He drove himself to the hospital, and I remember seeing my dad in the hospital, and that was very just, what? I need to really get this kitchen clean. Am I really seeing this? Like, my dad in the hospital? And it was just so interesting seeing him all, like, because I see it. I mean, I worked in healthcare, and you have the boards with the nurse and who the aide is, but it's just, it hits you different when you see, oh shit, my dad's name's on the board. Whoa, and whoa. Be right there. So, my dad was in the hospital for a while, and he wasn't getting any better. Brace your ears. So with that being said, I think that's one of the hardest conversations that I actually had was, well, we can't really do anything else with your dad. So what the next step was, they released him from the hospital. But before that, I needed to drive my dad's car. And he had a little Honda Accord. And the goal was to drive the car to the condo. And I got in my dad's Honda, and I couldn't freaking believe what I saw. It looked like a crime scene in there. Let's see. The car was just a mess. It was his chewing tobacco cup, his all over the place, and I didn't know how severely bad it was, but apparently, brace your ears. His intestines exploded. and there was just a crime scene at the house, like all over. We had to replace the carpets, and it was just bad. And I got into the car, and I just fucking broke down. Because I feel like when I was around my dad and my aunt, I had to really stay strong and just have my head up high. I'm like, okay, we got this, we got this. And so in the midst of trying to study for boards, I was feeling very overwhelmed. And it was just so, because I feel like the inside of my dad's car was a reflection of what my dad is going inside internally of my dad's body. So I called my aunt, and I was just like crying, and I'm like, this is so hard, I can't do this. And she was like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, we got this, and we'll get through it. And I'm like, okay, well, so we decided to put my dad in I don't want to say a nursing home, because it wasn't really a nursing home. It was more like I don't even know what, it was like it was a house, and they had a caregiver, and they had a few other rooms. And so, yeah, they're a nurse, a caregiver, and they had like 3 or 4 other rooms. And I really trusted this nurse. And nothing against her, but I was just really confused. Meaning, my aunt calls me, and she was like, I think you should go check on your dad. But I think, because the day, like I think 2 days before, I call the nurse, and I was like, hey, nurse to nurse, my dad has stage 4 colon cancer, which I'm sure she already knows all that. And she was like, oh, your dad's in good care, and we're going to take good care of him. And so I trusted her. But my aunt was telling me something completely different, that he wasn't getting good care. And to me, if I'm taking care of you, you're going to be in good care. Hint to the reflection notes. Hint to I'm a loving being. I put my all into things. So anyway, so I went to the house, and the house where my dad was staying. My mouth dropped. So the caregiver sitting on the couch. What the fuck? And I'm like, oh, let's just pray that my dad is in good hands. Meaning, let's just pray my dad is getting the care that he needs if you're sitting down on your phone texting, watching television. What the fuck? And so I go see my dad, and my dad's trash can is full, and my dad hasn't been changed. And I'm like, are you kidding me? What is this? The man literally has stage 4 colon cancer. We must rotate him every 2 hours. We must. Why is his urinal not emptied? What is happening? My point is, that license doesn't mean fucking shit. It's a piece of paper. Just like you get, oh, we're getting married. That license doesn't mean anything. People are still going to cheat. So just because you are licensed doesn't mean you are the best nurse. It's a piece of paper. So I lost my shit, because that is like, I have a very few things that really irk me. Cheating is one of them. If you're not happy, just freaking leave the relationship. And then bad care. I can't do it, because these are human beings. They need to be treated like human beings, not like a piece of shit. And my dad laying in urine is not acceptable, especially if you're on your phone texting. Dad, what's going on? He's like, I need to get out of here. I just want to be at the condo. Okay. Well, I call my aunt. I'm getting goosebumps. Call my aunt. I'm like, all right, you're right. We need to get my dad out of here pronto. And that was my dad's wish. My dad said he just wanted to be at his condo. Great. So I said, all right, aunt, you and I are going to take care of my dad. We're going to be his caretakers. And, I did it again. It's interesting when you work in the field, you can clock out I say clock out, but I feel like if you're in healthcare, you get it. Do you really necessarily clock out? I feel like our jobs are so, it's just always walking on pins and needles. I mean, we are taking care of a human being, and I feel like there's no gray, there's only black and white, and the first thing they do, who is in charge, you know better, you pass boards, blah, 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 but they don't mention, oh, you might be short, you might be running around looking for equipment, you might get paid shitty money, which we're the human body is worth billions. Why are we getting paid pennies? I don't get it. That's a whole different topic. But anyway, so I call my aunt, we're talking, and she's like, okay, well, what we can do is this. I can take the morning shift, and you can take the night shift. You can study for boards. I'm like, okay, we are going to have to do what we have to do, but we have to. And so we take him to the condo. We put him on hospice. When I think one of the hardest part was he wanted to get up, and I said, Dad, I don't think you are strong enough to get up. And he got angry at me. He was like, I can go to the bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom. Okay, Dad, you want to go to the bathroom? Let's go to the bathroom. So I get the wheelchair. Come on, let's go. And he's trying to get up. He's like, oh, I'm just too weak. I hear you, Dad. I'm hearing that you're weak. Well, Dad, if an accident happens, you have a brief on, and I will change you. I'll take care of it. And but I feel like we were constantly having that conversation. I got to get up. I got to move. I got to go to the bathroom. Dad, you're not okay, Dad. Let's do it. Let's go to the bathroom. I mean, we'll have the same battle. He would try to get up, and then he couldn't. I mean, fucking cancer is a bitch. And then taking the medicine on top of that. So, I couldn't really study like I wanted to. I love pumpkin rolls or like holiday stuff, and I like the house smelling nice. A little too much. Anyway, so taking care of my father and trying to study for boards was very challenging, and I kind of just really wanted to focus on my dad. And it was hard when my dad would say, I'm hungry, and I'm like, Dad, I can give you some pain meds. Because he would choke, he would aspirate. Let's see, who is calling me? All right, Rattlers, I have to slither off here. It's actually the construction people for my condo. But, all right, God, we will connect later. Love you, God. And Rattlers, if you're here, I love you too. And if you vibe, consider becoming part of the family. Much love.